Well, hello, everyone. This is Dr. Nick, your favorite personal growth coach. And I am so excited for we are here for another session of Adulting in My Purpose Live in 2021. I'm excited. I was ready for the new year. Ready. So, we are here every Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So if you are joining for the first time, welcome. If you are a returning listener, welcome back. Good to see you. Say hello. You know the deal. Say hello. Put your name in the chat. Let me know that you're listening. I want to know who is out there. Even if you're watching on the replay, just be sure to like, share, give me some love, share, start a watch party, share with friends. So you know that for those that are watching for the first time, I always like to give an official introduction. So my name is Dr. Nicole Rankin, and I am or better known as Dr. Nick. I am a certified personal growth coach, and my mission is to help young leaders truly discover who they are, clarify their vision, and develop a solid plan to take their next steps in life. I with this mission, I developed a 7-step system of self discovery that will help young people uncover their purpose and help to navigate in this complex world. And I compiled it up into a journal I call Adulting in My Purpose. And so we have started this Adulting in My Purpose journal. We have a course. It's going to be a real movement that we are creating with young leaders that are truly desiring to know who they are and understand their strengths, understanding their talents and their giftedness, and putting those all in alignment with who they were created to be, and truly adulting in their purpose and doing the things that they love, doing the things that they were created and called for. So I'm excited. We have different sessions where we have guests on. There might be times I'll do some teaching, but tonight we have another exciting segment of Millennials Making Moves. So, with Millennials Making Moves, I'll interview some amazing men and women that are out there in the world doing their thing, living their vision, living their goals, and just making a real difference in the community. So tonight is no different. So go ahead, like I said, be sure you like, share, start a watch party, because we're going to have a great time. So today we have an amazing millennial that is making moves, and we have Raymond Forte. Raymond Forte is a preacher and teacher of the Word of God, and in addition, he is being a multi-talented singer, musician, author, blogger, and entrepreneur. I mean, just all of that, multi-talented, y'all. So he is the CEO and founder of Raymond Forte Enterprises, LLC, and which is a for-profit that specializes in music, media, and ministry. And it was established in 2019 in Phoenix, Arizona. And he's also published his first book, yay, called Maximizing Mentally. And capitalize mentally, and we'll talk more about that. And the book really addresses the mental health crisis of men and the women who love them. And then he also has a podcast, the Raymond Fortecast, so we'll learn more about that. So let's welcome Mr. Raymond Forte to Adulting in My Purpose. Welcome, Raymond.
Hello, Dr. Nick. How are you?
I am wonderful. Good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. So, we are doing Millennials Making Moves, and you are just that multi-talented, making moves, writing books, singing, musician, doing all kinds of stuff. So, I know you, and I can read more about you, but I want you to personally tell our audience just a little bit about yourself, about your path, how you got started, and how you got to where you are today.
Okay. Well, my name is Raymond Forte. As noted, I am a native of Atlanta, Georgia, but now I'm a proud resident of the Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. I've been here 6 years now, on and off. But how I got started, I was a musician. I started as a musician when I was 7 years old. I started playing the drums at 7 years old. And so my parents began to, so they saw that gift and they started to cultivate that gift with my brothers and I. And so from that gift, we started a group called, they formed a group for us, rather, called the Forte Brothers. So that's where my musical career, for lack of a better word, my musical journey began.
Okay.
So at the age of 7, my music journey began as a drummer and as a singer with my brothers. And then at 15, I began to discover my love for playing piano and playing keyboards. And so that's when I began my music. That's where I began to expand my music gift, playing the keyboards and, just learning that at age of 15. And just as time went along, I just, tried to do everything I can to perfect my craft since then. And I've performed and played with some of the best. So that, started my love, my passion for music. And then up until about 2 years ago, God has blessed me to become an author. As you mentioned, I have my book, Maximizing Mentally, and it's my first book. And it highlights, some of my journey and some of my struggles that I had to overcome to get to where I am. And and I'm working on a second book now. And so that's how we're here.
Wow, that is awesome. Some of that stuff I didn't know. So you started out at 7, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting how I love when I hear stories of how you kind of are operating in your gifts, and of course you have the support of your parents to recognize that. So you had a group. Y'all were like the little Jackson 5, right?
Yes, the gospel
Okay.
version.
Awesome, awesome. So, you are a millennial by definition, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
I work with a lot of millennials, and we know that they are, a lot of negative connotations with millennials going on in the world. But, what are some of the biggest challenges that you see as establishing yourself as a millennial in this world?
Um, the one of the challenges I would say is not really getting the understanding from the previous generation.
Mm,
Because sometimes a lot of times they'll see entrepreneurs or millennials as all over the place.
mhm,
And sometimes, they don't, a lot of times the previous generation does not understand that there may have been some things that were in their context that was good for their age then, but probably, some context in that same context it's not working now. So I
mhm,
think some of the challenges millennials face is really getting the understanding of the previous generation, and really understanding that sometimes things may not have aligned for you, aligned for me the way they align for you. However, you know, my purpose doesn't look like your purpose.
that's good. I like that. And just having, I like the way you said that, just having an understanding that um, we're living in different times and every generation is different.
Hmm.
So I know, and when I talk about the gaps between generations, when you look at Generation X and a baby boomer, the trends and the culture is a little similar. But then when you jump to millennials and then whoa to Gen Zers, it's like totally different. And
Hmm.
especially with millennials, depending on what end of the spectrum you are, because we have older millennials such as yourself, and then we have our younger millennials that are more
Hmm.
into the digital, that's closer to the Gen Zer. So it's like a totally different mindset, culture, just
Hmm.
how you guys think, how you guys do things. So I love the way that you said that, as leaders, helping to bridge that gap will be beneficial.
Hmm.
So talk about, your just how your life personally has impacted you in being a millennial. How has that affected you?
I would say I'm the millennial that is a mixture of old school and new school. Um,
Okay.
so I grew up around a lot of older people, so that I was taught. There's some things that I had to. Okay, there's some things I had to learn, and there's some things I had to unlearn because of that.
Mhm.
So there was, I learned respect. I learned, just certain old school values. You know,
Mhm.
but there were some things that I had to unlearn because they were um, set in their ways per se. You see what I'm saying? So, so I had to. So, like I said, growing up around older people can't negate me old school values. But then, as I began to grow up and time began to change and evolve, I had to be around people who fit the future.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
I had to be around people who who could speak to where they saw me going, or where they saw the world going. You see what I mean? So, with that being said, my life, having a, it's worked in a way. God's worked it in a way to where He's allowed me to be with people, or find a tribe per se that's fit for the future.
I like that, and that's so important when we are trying to just figure life out. Do this adulting thing. I talk a lot about making sure you have the right inner circle,
Mm-hmm.
and I like the way you say that you look for people who are fit for your future. That right there is powerful because even sometimes we look for the people for the right now, and which is okay because you need
Mm-hmm.
people for the moment. But when you spoke, you said you're looking for people who are fit for your future. So it's like understanding that you're not wanting to be stagnant. You're looking to grow. You're looking to move forward, and
Mm-hmm.
having the right people in your circle that's going to help you push you to move forward, and grow to become the person that you know that God has created you to be. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I
Mm-hmm.
I I like that. I like that. I like that. So in thinking about, getting the right people in your inner circle, what do you suggest? What are some tips or strategies or things do you think could help to bridge the gaps between generations, and what should leaders do to engage the millennial generation?
I would say number one, be honest. Be honest
Mm,
about your failures. Be honest about where you lack. Be honest about your deficiency. But then also get information. So not just the older generation getting information from the millennials, but the millennials ought to be getting information from the older generation.
mhm,
So
mhm,
it has to be a two-way street. So
mhm,
it has to be an accountability on both ends, because we, yes, you all need us for the future. You all need us to so we can move forward, but we need you to have wisdom so we can have wisdom. So
mhm.
it's really a two-way street: honesty and communication and information.
I like that. I like that two-way street. So let me think about what you were talking about. What is like one of the best things that you know or can resonates with you now from that you've taken from an older generation? Because you said you had to keep some things and learn some things and unlearn some things. So what is something that you learn that sticks with you now, and what is one thing that you had to unlearn to help you move forward?
Well, I had to. I learned that hard work. You'll never
Hmm.
beat hard work. No matter
Hmm.
how, you'll never cheat your way out. You'll never shortcut your way out. It. You have to work, and I think that's one of the things I had to. That's one of the hard lessons I had to learn. One of the hard lessons I had to keep. Because the older generation believed in working hard and making sure you have it, and even if you do have it, make sure you have it even more. So that's something I had to learn was hard work. But then also too, I think what I had to unlearn was a one track mindset, because
Hmm.
the older generation, they stuck with one thing, and sometimes that's all they knew, and they never knew how to evolve and never knew how to move with the times, if
Hmm.
that makes sense. So
Yeah, absolutely.
so that's definitely one thing I had to unlearn, was being stagnant for the sake of saying, well, I'm old school. Okay, that's fine.
Mhm.
But how are we going to move forward? Because every generation is not going to respond to I'm old school.
Right. I like that. And even speaking on that note, when you're talking about going forward and doing things differently, what are some of the things and the best ways that you have found to keep yourself motivated, keep yourself engaged? Because we know life is hard. This whole adulting thing, it's hard. It's hard all around. It has its ups, it has its downs. Especially just even looking back over 2020 and all the things that we had to endure, and the lows and the highs, and all the things that happened, and we're still going through things things now, right?
Mhm.
But what are some of the best ways that you motivate yourself to keep yourself engaged and motivated and moving forward?
Definitely read.
Mm,
And I over the and that's something that I've had to do of, and that's something of recent, and I'm not saying that to say I've never read, but that's something, a habit I've recently had to pick back up because of where I want to go. And
mhm,
then keeping people around me who will be honest with me, be honest with me about where you see a deficiency, be honest with me about where you see there's an opportunity for, I should say deficiency, but an opportunity for growth, so
mhm.
that I can be able to be an asset, not to just to my circle, but to the world around me. So that's what keeps me motivated, is reading and just being around people who will be honest with me, because I I can't we can't be coddled through adulthood. You know, we
Mm.
can't be
Say
coddled
that
through
again. Say that again.
it. We
They
can't be
say,
coddled through
say it loud for the people in the back.
it. But that's one of the, that's one of the things that keeps you motivated. It's like I'm not I refuse, I refuse to be how can I say, a liability. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, we've coddled this generation has unfortunately coddled a lot of us. And
Mhm.
so that's what keeps me motivated, is just making sure that I stay focused and, yeah, stay in tune and stay, yeah.
I like that. So even as you just speaking, so I have two questions. One, because you said you're doing some reading. So what are you currently reading?
I'm so glad you asked me. So I'm currently reading this book called Growth Mindset: The New Psychology of Success, written by Carol
Okay.
S. Dweck, PhD. And so she talks about how we can learn to fulfill our potential through parenting, through business, through schools, and through relationships. So one of the things I read in the book, she talks about famous athletes who may not have had the skill, but they had the mindset to get better, like
Mm,
Candace Parker. She mentions her. She mentions Babe Ruth. She mentions Michael Jordan. They may not have had all the skills, but the mindset to get better is what separated them. And so when we have the mindset to do better, when we have the mindset to grow, then we'll be able to see the changes we want to see in our life. So, Mindset: The New Psychology of Success. That's what I'm reading.
Oh, I love that. And as a personal growth coach, I that's the main thing that I teach is mindset, because it all starts with the mind, all starts with belief.
Hmm.
And it's a powerful thing to come into that awareness of the
Hmm.
power of your mind,
Hmm.
and and what it can do and how it can shape the course of your life, really. Because what you think, it dictates everything. It dictates how you feel, it dictates what you say, it dictates what you do. So I love that. So we'll go ahead and put that book in the chat, so you'll have that as a recommendation. I always love to expand our library, so that we'll go ahead. So thank you for sharing that.
Hmm.
Sounds great. So, outside of reading, who or what is your inspiration? What inspires you?
My son,
Hmm.
my son, as of my son, but not just my son, but boys who may look like my son.
Mm-hmm.
The next generation that looks like, the generation that's after us. That's what inspires me, because they're watching,
Mm-hmm.
and they're paying attention. They're seeing everything. The next generation is more aware than we think, and they're smarter than we think. So
Mm-hmm.
the next generation, and like I said, as of the past few months, my son, who will be here next week. So
Yes. Congratulations for the
thank
first
you.
first son, firstborn.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Awesome.
yes.
So what how okay, so it in aspiring, having your son as your inspiration, how has that changed you as a person, as a man, to know the responsibility of the having of gearing and raising the next generation?
It's changed me a lot. It's changed
Mhm.
the way I plan now. It's changed the way with the little things, just how I handle my money,
Mm.
how I treat, my lady who's, his mom, how I treat other people.
Mhm.
It's just how it's changed me. It's just started with the little things,
Mhm.
even what I do around the house. It's not necessarily, you know, what's changed me so I can have a, because of course I want to be able to provide for him, be able to protect him, be able to do all the necessary things. But it's changed me in regards to doing the little things that
Mm.
he's going to see that everybody else won't see.
I like that. I love that. I love that. Well, congratulations. We'll look forward to the pictures and all the
Thank you.
posts
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
of
you.
the future Forte
Yes, yes,
generation. You
yes.
have a name already?
David Justice Solomon.
Okay.
Gladly portrait. Yeah.
All right. David Justice Solomon Forte. Coming
Yeah,
coming
Gladney,
soon.
Gladney Forte. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Awesome. I
yeah,
love it. I love it. I'm
yeah.
excited for you.
Thank you, thank
Awesome.
you, thank
So
you, thank you.
you're welcome. You're welcome. So in life, and I'm sure you can speak to this. I know that when we read your bio, you talked about being a preacher. So you grew up in the church and have a strong spiritual background. And so we're looking at thinking about how did the role of having like a mentor or a coach play in your life, or did you have one, or how did that work for you?
Oh yeah, I've definitely had mentors to play a
Hmm.
role. One Bishop Hutchins, Bishop
Hmm.
your pastor, who I have a great respect for. He was a mentor. Um, uh, Individual. His name is Buddy Strong. He's the organist for the Dave Matthews Band. He was a mentor.
Hmm.
I have a mentor. His name is Dr. Reginald Bell. He's a mentor. Dr. Mark Jefferson. He's a mentor. So I've had several, mentors throughout my life in for different seasons of my life. And it's played a huge role because it showed me at the time I didn't see where I was falling short, but they were trying to they wanted to help me see where I was because they saw what I couldn't see. They saw the potential. They saw where I how hard I worked and what I wanted to do. So
Hmm.
having mentors in my life definitely played a huge role because it saw where I needed to grow and it saw what my strengths were as well. So, but definitely you need mentors in your life to help you. They're not always going to be there to make you feel good.
Mm.
Mentors are not always meant to you know tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
And so mentoring it's also affected how I mentor.
Mm.
It's also affected how I, because there's a young man that I'm pouring into as well. So having mentors, it helped me see where I was falling short, but it also helped me to see how I pour into.
Mm. I love that, and then that's important. Making sure that you're passing on the wisdom that you receive, and that's what leadership is. Leadership is
Hmm.
about influence, nothing more, nothing
Hmm.
less. And I love the idea that you said you should have a mentor. So I know a lot of young people, going through life and trying to figure out the who, the what, the when, and how, and really trying to do it on their own.
Hmm.
And it's interesting to me as I work with a lot of young people, and I reassure them that it's okay. It's okay to get help. It's okay to get some guidance.
Hmm.
It's okay to find somebody that's going to help you.
Hmm.
And I'm not sure if it's a generational thing, um, but
I would
it's
say that. I would
what
say
you.
that. I would say that because I think a lot of times, again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I think the generation before us wasn't as transparent and honest with us as they should have been.
Okay.
They should have, and because the generation before us highlighted their strengths, but we never saw their weaknesses.
Mm, mm,
So we so how are we supposed to know how to respond when we mess up? How do we know how to respond when we make a mistake, or so I think it could, I would say it's a generational thing because again the lack of communication has caused a split and caused a misunderstanding.
I like, and as you said that, I just thinking of how true that is, because in working with millennials, they always there's a common trend to that they said they feel pressure, right? They feel stress, they feel pressure to be this perfect, air quote, perfect person.
Hmm.
And in my mind, it's like, where did this pressure come from that you have to get everything right? Because I know in my life I fail all the time. So, but
Michael
you
Jordan
learn.
said it best. I've missed more shots than I've made, and that is so. You're going to fail. You're going to fail. You're going to fail again. Let me tell you something.
Yes.
I came out here to Phoenix. So let me share one of my failures. So I
Yeah.
came out to Phoenix. Had a failed marriage. So I left Phoenix in September 2017 to move back to Atlanta, but then had a failed plan when I went back to Atlanta. But then I got a call here to play with, and I mentioned his name, Buddy Strong, at a major church here in Phoenix. I come
Mhm.
here, move here, but then I fail that and get fired.
Mm.
However, that's where I found my purpose. You always you're most times you're gonna find your purpose at the lowest moment in your life.
Mm.
But your failure is not final. Your actually failure is your foundation. And I think the generation before us never really taught us failure. They thought failure is fine, and they really showed us failure was a finality. When really no, failure was. Had I not got fired, I would have never been motivated to
Mm.
start my LLC. I would have never been motivated to write my book. I would have been never, because I would have been stuck, or not necessarily stuck, but I wouldn't have had the courage to
Mhm.
find my wings, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And it's inspiring, because so many people, when they face failure, they use it as a hindrance or a blockage,
Hmm.
from moving forward. So
Hmm.
it's a testament to be able to develop the type of perseverance and persistence that is needed to do things in the midst of failure or in spite of the failure, or how to keep moving forward when you fail, and
Hmm.
having that determination and the fortitude and the strength
Hmm.
to keep moving and understand that failure, like you said, it is not finite. It's a moment in time, and it's
Hmm.
how you deal with it and how you process it and how you move forward. And a lot of times, when you said that, as older generations, when we do come into challenges, is we
Sweep it under the
brush
rug.
sweep it under the rug, right? We sweep
But
it
I got to
under
be
the
able to show
rug.
my son, like with me having a son on the way. Now I got to be able to show him, because he's going to fail, and I'm not
Mm,
saying that because he's not going to be a failure. He's just
yes.
going to fail. So
Yeah.
I have to. It's my responsibility as his father to show him how to move forward from failure.
Hmm.
So I think we have to be more honest about both sides. We have to be honest about our failures so that we can
Hmm.
move forward as a people.
I love that. So guys out there, that is a powerful thing, because it's a new year. It's a new year. It's 2021, and we have goals, we have dreams. You may have done your vision boards, you wrote down your resolutions, whatever it is that you want to do in this new season, new life, new year. We all always get started, but at some point, that you're going to face an obstacle. You're going to face a challenge. You're going to try something and it's not going to work. And we're here to say that it's okay.
It's okay. It
It's
is
okay.
okay. Sometimes the failure, like I said, your failure is what gets you more focused. So
Yeah.
hear from somebody who's failed and
Yeah.
cried horribly when I did. And when
Yeah.
the tears dried up, when I stopped crying, I said,
Mm.
okay, I it's a new day. Life doesn't
It's a-
stop.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, congrats on your journey in moving forward, because as you are moving forward, you're doing some great things and empowering so many people. So, in that vein, I want you to just kind of talk to our young people out there, our millennials out there who are seeking their purpose and trying to find their way in the world, like what advice would you share with them?
I would share with them that first I would share with young people is keep a heart of service.
Hmm.
Keep a heart of service, because more often than not, you'll find your purpose in your service and how you serve people. So your service is what helps you navigate what your purpose is, because your purpose is you pouring into other people, and and your purpose really affects not just you but the people around you. So I would say keep a heart of service and keep a heart of consistency and of righteous and justice,
Hmm.
because purpose and justice always coincide.
I like that. I want you to expound. You said something that was powerful, and I hope you guys caught that out there. He said that keep a heart of service because in your service, you'll find purpose. And that's a powerful statement. I don't think a lot of people realize that. I know, as you say, that for me, that's how I found my purpose was through service. And can you expound on that and share some more on that idea of your service and your purpose and how they correlate?
So expounding on it, like my first recollection of service was being a caretaker for my dad when he was sick. So he had diabetes and he wasn't the best patient. You
That's
know what I
fun.
mean?
I get it. I get
Yeah,
it. Trust.
he was, so there were days I had to
Old sick
deal
man, I
with,
understand.
deal with, the lack of appreciation and the
Mhm.
lack of, understanding and all of
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
And then I had to deal with and I even had to deal with his good days when he felt like saying something good. But expounding on that, that taught me what leadership is. You're gonna have people who gonna love you one day, and then you're gonna have people that gonna hate you the next. But if you keep
Mhm.
a heart, when you keep your heart of service, you understand that it's not about me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
keeping a heart of service keeps you focused on the greater good, and that's the
Mhm.
impacting the people around me.
I like that. That is powerful, guys. So I hope you. He's dropping some great nuggets. I hope you out there taking notes. That one right there. I want you to make sure you circle, highlight, because that right there is powerful. That for those that are looking, because when working with a lot of young people, they say, I don't know my purpose. I don't know what it is that I'm supposed to do, and it's interesting because in understanding your purpose, and we talk about this in our adulting in my purpose course, and when we go through the course and go through the journal, is that understanding your purpose, you got to get back to knowing who you are, not only
Mhm.
knowing who you are but whose you are. It's an internal discovery to find your purpose, and when you're serving people, it puts you in that humble state of, like you said, getting yourself out the way. When you're in the mindset that it's not about you, then and you're serving people, then you're serving them, then your giftings come out. Then you like, wait a minute, I'm really good at this, or
Mhm.
I'm good at that. And then you see, okay, you'll start to see trends
Mhm.
across your life, like
Yeah.
places that you've done things where you were really excelling, but you don't see that when you have yourself as the
Right.
focal point, right?
Right.
So that right there is powerful. So I hope you all out there
And let me
taking
say this.
notes.
Let me say this.
Go ahead.
Service
Yeah.
is not always profitable.
Say that again.
Service is not always profitable, but it's
Yeah.
always purposeful. You won't
Service
profit it.
is, I like that.
You won't
Service.
profit in the moment most days when you're serving people, but it's going
Yeah.
to be purposeful for the greater good.
Okay, say that louder. Say that louder so they can hear. Say it for the people in the back.
Service is not always profitable, but service will always remain purposeful.
I like that. Y'all tweet that one. Make sure you give Raymond credit because that right there, service is not always profitable, but service is always purposeful. I like that. I like that. Oh, this is great. Great conversation. So
Absolutely.
give us like maybe two things, one or two things that will be helpful for young people. We're in this new year, everybody's in this new year, new season, new me, all that great stuff, but how do we keep it moving, so give us one or two things that help us keep moving forward in our journey.
Always seeing where you can get better.
Mm,
Always seeing where you can get there's as once one thing, because we're always never going to always have it right. We can go into the new year saying new me, new year, new plans, but if we haven't gotten the habits from the past year before, and I say that
mm,
from experience, like because there were habits that I had that I was still taking it year after year after year, and I'm like, wait a minute, what am I? Because I was taking old habits into new years, and I wasn't
mm,
seeing where I could grow. I wasn't
mhm,
saying, okay, well, I need to be better in focus. I need to be better in consistency. I need to be better with, so seeing where you can always always seeing where you can grow, and then informing yourself, reading.
mhm.
We've lost the art of reading. We've lost the art of, and I lost that art, because of course we live in a digital world, and
Technology, yeah.
I love, I'm all about moving forward, and I'm all about, uh, you know, the tech world and all of that.
Mhm.
However, we have lost, admittingly, and I will indict myself. We lost the art of informing ourselves, because we allowed YouTube to inform us and things like that when we should have been picking up a book
Mm,
or
mhm.
picking up information from credible people that will, take us to where we're trying to go.
I like that. Two important things. So, in that vein, when you talked about growing and making sure that you kind of find ways to grow as a personal growth coach, that is my mission, just to help young people and anybody that I work with understand the importance of personal growth and development. So, for you yourself, what does personal growth and development look like for you?
Ooh, personal growth and development looks like, to me, is making sure I'm better than I was the last year, and I have a
Mhm.
plan to be better in the I have a plan to be better in the next.
Mhm. Do
So
you
if
do
my
anything specifically for that?
um for me, again, reading,
Mhm.
writing out my stuff,
Mhm.
and then also having accountability partners. So
Ah,
my lady, she's an excellent accountability partner. She keeps me accountable, making sure I do what I say I'm going to do, and I stay focused on what needs to get done, and then
mhm,
keep people around me who'll say, okay, maybe you need to reconsider this. People that I trust, and
mhm,
also too, not having too many voices in your ear, So,
mhm.
that's what it looks like for me. Just being around people who will hold me accountable, and then who will help me push forward.
I love it. I love it. So let's kind of think about, we talk about millennials making moves and how millennials, I know it just in the generation, have a desire to actually like really live in their purpose and truly make a impact in the world. We see a lot of millennials are going against the grain, and just going against that, maybe going against the traditional 9 to 5 or the traditional trends of the past, and kind of forging their own way and creating their own destiny. But a big part of that is that they want to be a part of a change in this world. So when you think about you and things that you're doing right now, or things that you have done, um, excuse me, how have you, what things have you done to kind of impact your community and maybe the people around you?
Well, I serve at a great church. I serve at the City of the Praise Christian Church, in Peoria, Arizona. So that's where I serve. That's where I serve my church family. And then I have a great friend of mine. His name is Reverend Redeem Robertson, and he's the pastor of Ebenezer Phoenix, whom I'm also a musician at. But him and I are more so we. Uh, are active with social justice here in the city of Phoenix. So we are part of the Black Lives Matter March. We serve for the African American Christian Clergy Coalition here in Phoenix, Arizona, where we serve with different pastors, and we serve our community through it's ecumenical. So we serve our community. We serve our communities just through different events and things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much how I serve my community. And yeah, I love Phoenix. Phoenix is an amazing city, and so it's an honor to just be here and to add what I can here. So
Awesome. I love it. I love it. And had we have more time, I would let them, I would tell you break out the keyboard so we can hear them gifted.
yeah.
Had we had more time, I would have said, because when I know people are gifted in certain areas, I like to put them on the spot. But I'm not gonna do that to you. I'm not gonna do it to you today.
All right, I appreciate that.
No, I'm not going to do it to you
No.
today. Well, thank you again. So, tell us, you're doing so many things. Tell the audience about, you have your book. Let us know more about your book. How did you get inspired to write the book? What the book is about? Who does it serve? And most important, how can we get it?
Okay, so my book, Maximizing Mentally, was actually an idea that was inspired in 2017, shortly after I lost my marriage. But I didn't really understand what God was doing then. I thought it was going to be like a conference or something or whatever. But it was an idea. It was just a thought that God had given me in 2017. Fast forward to 2019, I post about an experience that I went through that I talk about in my book about some sexual trauma. Where I lose my virginity to a woman who was 9 years my elder when I was 16. And so I post something about, there was a tweet that talked about how Black boys really don't consider that as rape or sexual abuse. We consider that a prize. So I speak about, I talked shortly about that. And then my publisher, Pastor Kenyon Dudley, he was like, hey, that is a book idea. And so him and his wife have a boot camp that they do, a book writing boot camp, and he invited me to his book writing boot camp, and God he gave me that thought again. Well, not the thought, but he what's the word I'm looking for? He reiterated. He gave me that thought. He revisited rather that thought, maximizing mentally, and so that's when we began to write the book, and I was just beginning to pour out my life experiences, pour out lessons that I've learned. And the book has a lot of basketball illustrations because I'm a huge basketball fan.
Okay.
So it has a lot of basketball illustrations, and it's for men. It encourages men. It speaks to men. It speaks to what we deal with, the hidden things that we deal with that we don't talk about, the hidden hurts that we don't talk about, the hidden struggles that we don't talk about. I deal with that, and it's for the women who love them, So and it's informative for women to let them know that men are hurting, and men do hurt, but there is a way for men to heal, and when men heal, we are able to impact our communities in great ways. So that's what the book services men. And informs women about, the mental health crisis. And like I said, I just talk about my struggles and how I overcame them. And that's the book.
Awesome. I love congratulations. First of all, congratulations in completing and getting your first book published. I know there are many more to come. So congratulations on that. And it's so needed. Mental health is a big part, especially in our culture. It's something that we culturally didn't talk about. And so again, it's that brush under the rug type mentality. But
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Which is why we grew up seeing men, beating on their wives, or just leaving and never coming back, or drinking themselves, or overworking themselves, or because in their mind they're not able to heal from things that have traumatized them in their past, or may have traumatized them, during the present. Because there's some men who may have had great childhoods, but still had that thing that traumatized them,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
when men when our minds heal, we're able to cast vision, and we're able to really impact our communities, and we're able to really serve our men, and excuse me, serve our women and children to the best of our ability and take care of them. And I know
Yeah.
I hope I'm not talking too much, but
Oh, you're good. This is what we want to
when
know
men
about. Yeah.
when we heal our mind, and when
Mhm.
we get our mind right, then we're able to be the positive impact that women are really begging us for.
Mhm.
So
Awesome.
yeah.
I love that, and again, such a needed topic. So guys, let people know, how do we get a copy of it?
Okay. So the book is available on Amazon,
Okay.
Maximizing Mentally, but it's also available on my website, www.theraymondforte.com. If you purchase through my website, you'll get an autographed copy. So just leave your name when you're ordering, just leave your name and your shipping address, and you'll receive an autographed copy from my website, www.theraymondforte.com.
Awesome, guys. So I love that, and I know it's much needed. So guys, so make sure you support. Go ahead and reach out to Raymond's website. Get his book, share it with the men that you love, the men that you don't love, the men that you know that need help, and allow this book to help people heal, because this is what we need right now. We need a lot of healing in our culture, just in our world, right? So there's a lot going on. So again, congratulations on the book. We have your website flowing, you see that across there. So, and how else can, if somebody wants to reach out, are you on social media anywhere?
Yes, I'm on social media. I'm on Instagram,
Okay.
at the Raymond Forte. I'm on Twitter at the Raymond Forte, and Facebook at the Raymond Forte. So
Okay.
all of it is there.
Awesome. I love it. I love it. So this has been great. I am so glad that you have come to share your work, share your journey. It has been a great time chatting with you,
Thank you. It's
and
been a
just
great time as well.
hearing all the great things that you're doing. So in our final questions that I usually have for guests. I'll give you two questions. First questions is, if you can change one thing in the world, what would it be and
Our two-party system,
why? Okay.
because not it's not healthy for our nation. So
Mhm.
I would change our two-party system.
Okay. Awesome. And then the last and final question is, everybody know who's been watching, what that question is. It is, what does adulting in my purpose mean to you?
Adulting and my purpose for me is serving the people who can do nothing for me, but yet get them to where they need to be so they can be everything God has called them to be.
Say that again.
Adulting in my purpose is serving those who can do nothing for me, but doing everything I can so that they can be everything God has called them to be.
I love that. That is amazing. So thank guys, that is Raymond Forte, a millennial making moves, doing things, allowing God to use him in this world to impact lives. And that is what adulting in my purpose is all about. So thank you, Raymond, for your time. Thank you for coming on and sharing your gifts and just letting us know what great things that you're doing.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the invitation. I have a high regard of respect for you, and just I think the world of you. So thank you for this invitation for conversation, and I had a blast.
Absolutely, I did too. So it's first of many. We'll definitely remain connected and do some more things throughout the year. So, guys, as we wrap up this session of Adulting in My Purpose, this was great. I hope you got the nuggets, because he was giving the goods. right? He was giving some good things that you can take and cause you to think about to help you in your journey. So, adulting in my purpose is really a movement. We are here to help young leaders discover who they are, clarify their vision, and develop a solid plan for their next step. So continue to watch. We will be back next Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So our next show, we're actually going to be covering the topic of mental health and self-care. So we know that that is big, and we want you to be able to be healthy and whole. So we're going to have a licensed psychologist, Elizabeth Joseph, that's going to join us. So if you have questions, you can ask questions. But she's going to share just some tips and strategies that we can take through 2021 to help us with all that's going on and making sure that we remain healthy and whole in all areas of our lives. So you don't want to miss it. So join us next week, Wednesday at 8:30 again. Make sure, let me get my announcements out. Make sure that not only do you get Raymond's book on Amazon, so while you are Amazon getting Raymond's book that is there. You can stop by and get Adulting in My Purpose. It's available on Amazon as well. We also have the course that's available for those that are wanting to take a deeper dive into their self-discovery and truly hone in uncovering their purpose and now getting a solid plan to move forward. So the course is available as well. We'll have all that information in the comments. So guys, be safe. Be safe, be safe, be safe. Can't say it enough. Be safe and be blessed. And we'll see you again on next week. Good night.
Good night.